Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of BC Buckets. I'm Matthew Bruin, and joining me once again is Colin Mitchell. Today, Colin, we have um, a new versus episode, and it is two players that we are very, very divided on. This doesn't
Yeah.
always happen. We can't lie to the public. Sometimes we are the same we're aligned on one player. Sometimes we're split. This is one of those situations where we're split. Um, when we scout these players, obviously we do it separately, so we don't know what the other's thinking until we text about it and say, who do you want in this versus battle? And
Mm,
Colin said, I love Kobe Bufkin.
yeah.
And I said, that's good because I don't like Kobe Bufkin. And
Yeah.
so we'll get into that. I will have the side of Anthony Black in this pretty clearly to me. But we can start with Kobe Bufkin. I'll throw it to you. Obviously, sophomore out of Michigan, very, very young, 19.7. I mean, young for a sophomore, that is,
Yeah. Yeah.
19 and a half years old there. 6'4 combo guard. You can take it from there.
Yeah. I mean, 6'4" combo guard, and he can do pretty much everything pretty well. And that's the thing I like about him most. And it was really what made me sold on him was his jump from his freshman year to his sophomore year. His freshman year, he didn't really play a whole lot. There wasn't anything that really stuck out. He was just kind of a guy that was on the floor. Coming to year two, he is crazy at the rim. He can finish with both hands. He has some shooting upside. His shot looks really good. He hustles on defense. And I think the thing that is going to make his ceiling the highest is his playmaking ability. He wasn't amazing at it in college, but there were some really, really good things that I liked with him making like live dribble passes, cross court passes. The pass that baffles my mind every time. Where it's like the one hand, like offhand cross
Mhm.
court pass. So
Yeah.
skip passes everything. That's the part that I like the most about him. I think.
Yeah, we always do these, and I never know whether to jump to Anthony Black or stay on Bufkin. But I think I'll be positive with Bufkin for now. I do think
Okay.
you're right. The finishing was extremely impressive. So that's the one thing. And when we look at players that I've been wrong about before, I'm just going to jump to a comparison. I see a lot of SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander,
Mm,
in a way that he is crafty and can score the ball. Like the way that he plays with a good pace, he has a good feel for the game. Like you said, is a willing passer. Obviously, SGA more of a more of a point guard in a lot of ways, but the feel for the game, I do give Buffett again a lot of credit for that. Um, but yeah, so SGA is honestly the highest of the 4 or 5 comparisons that I have written down here. So I do
yeah, you've
like
been
that
putting
part of
so many
Buffett.
comparisons down for these players.
It's
4 or 5.
it's the fun part. You got to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah,
You gotta take pieces of all of them. But yeah, the finishing is the main thing for me. The defensive side of the ball, I think he's a fine defender, but I don't want to get over excited about like steals and stuff because he did have a lot of those active hands moments and stuff, but he's not out here like really, really locking guys up, in my opinion. He has moments of getting deflections, blocks, steals. I don't think he's a great defender. I don't think he's going to be a great defender. So that's kind of one of my question marks for him. But we'll get into the rest later. Anthony Black on the other side of things, Arkansas freshman, 6'6" guard, played point guard for Arkansas, 19 and a half years old, 13 in points per game, shot 45% from the field, 30% from three, in 35 minutes per game, played a ton for this Arkansas team. And I want to preface everything here because people can watch Anthony Black and be like, all right, he has clear limitations, which I will concede in a bit. But this Arkansas team had little to no spacing on it. It was
hmm
one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the SEC and in the country. They did not shoot many threes. I watched LSU beat them in person because LSU basically sat 5 guys in the paint and said, all right, y'all beat us. Now, is that a positive necessarily for Black because he can't shoot? No. But the man had no spacing to work with here. So that's the first thing I want everybody to be on the same page about. When you watch Anthony Black highlights, realize this man is operating with no spacing, negative spacing. All right.
mm,
And what's his greatest strength? Probably getting to the rim,
hmm
probably
He was
finishing
good at
at the
it.
rim. And once he gets a step on you, he is a high level passer and making plays out of it. The man had no space to work with. So yeah, that the defensive upside I love. Now obviously the question marks for him are going to be the 3-point shooting and off the dribble type of creation stuff. But I think there's just so many tools to work with here. And at 6'6", uh, I'm really excited to watch him grow.
Yeah, I completely agree with his playmaking and driving ability. I mean, he had a 57.8 free throw rate, which is insane. And then
Yeah.
he was getting to the rim, like you said, on a team with like no driving lanes because their spacing was so bad. But I cannot buy his shot at all. He was shot 34% on unguarded threes this season. The percentages got worse as the season went on.
Hmm.
And his mechanic, it looks like my shot where it like hooks, where like the front of his wrist like hooks and it looks like it's rolling the ball the other way. That along with the self-creation questions make it to where I feel like his playmaking ability could be nullified in the NBA because he's not, yes, he's a good athlete, but he's not the fastest player. Yes, he's a good driver, but he drives right most of the time.
Hmm.
I feel
Those
like
are
it's a lot of things that can be exploited in the NBA that you can just beat college players with.
well. The thing is, I can agree with that to a degree that you can just beat college players with that. The spacing aspect of this is the difference for me. I think when
Right.
you put him on a floor with guys that can shoot the basketball, not even 5 out, if you just put him on a court with 2 or 3 other guys that can shoot the basketball, it completely changes everything. Because who are they guarding him with? If they guarding him with a wing, I still feel like he's able to get to the basket at a pretty high rate. He's able to play off pick and rolls very, very well. Like Anthony Black to me is going to grow and going to improve on his shortcomings as far as the driver goes. And for comparison's sakes, I have 2 players written down, Colin.
Mm-hmm.
First one is Russell Westbrook. Second one is DeJounte Murray.
Okay, I like the DeJounte Murray one.
DeJounte, I knew you'd
The
like the
Russell
DeJounte Murray one.
Westbrook one is not a good comp at
I
all.
liked I like the DeJounte Murray one a lot, right? Comes in as a raw prospect with good length. He can be that DeJounte Murray type player. And DeJounte Murray, even though he can shoot threes now, with the first 5 years of his 6
You
years of
couldn't.
without being able to shoot, and he was
The,
still an all-star for the Spurs.
here's
Like,
the difference, though.
go ahead.
Is he going to defend at the level that DeJounte Murray can
That's
defend at?
I think he will be a very, very good defender. I'm not gonna say he's an all defense caliber player, but he comes in with more offensive skills than DeJounte came in with,
I
like off
agree
the
with that.
bat. So that's I mean, he gets to the foul line. Like he has a lot of the similar traits to that DeJounte has now. Even if he doesn't live up to being that good elite defender that DeJounte was, I don't know if DeJounte's still that level because more offense, less defense. But still, I see a lot of comparisons in that respect, and I think he's a better athlete than DeJounte was, even though DeJounte had some dunks, but
I
he's a
agree.
stronger athlete. That's the avenue I can see here because everybody we always get caught up, and I do this all the time. We did this last year with Dyson Daniels, even though I'm not backing down on that Dyson Daniels take.
Hey, you didn't. Never mind.
It,
This isn't Dyson
this
Daniels.
isn't
This
elite.
isn't a Dyson Daniels video.
So basically, to keep it short, because I ramble, but to keep it short, sometimes I overvalue shooting from a ball handler perspective because if you can have guys around you that can shoot, we've seen it several times where if you're smart, especially if you're big, but if you're smart, can get to the foul line and get to the rim, like that's kind of what the NBA is now. They put the
Yeah.
ball into their best players' hands. Giannis up top, players like that can create. I mean, heck, Joel Embiid is catching the ball top of the key and just fanning out. So I don't want to overvalue shooting when this guy clearly in high school and in college is able to get to the rim at will, draw fouls, pass the ball at an elite level, and will have the spacing of the NBA. So that's my pitch for Anthony Black there before we even get to what's wrong with Kobe Bufkin.
Question just before we move back to Kobe Bufkin. Where is he on your big board? Because I feel like he has all of those pluses, like you said, and I agree. If he's a DeJounte Murray type player, that's great.
Yeah.
But a lot of people having him going in that 10-ish range. And for a player that I don't see as a super dynamic player in terms of what he's able to do on the offensive end, it's hard for me to go like, yeah, let's draft this guy 8, 9, 10, 11
I
over
think
somebody else.
this the ceiling might not be as high. Like,
Right.
right? Like as a we'll get to, we're recording this in the same session as Keontae George, and I'm fairly high on Keontae George. Like Keontae George, in theory, has a higher ceiling. Cam Whitmore, the Thompson twins,
Right.
higher ceiling. I'm looking at KOC. Kevin O'Connor right now has him at 8 on his mock draft, which feels high because he's going to the Wizards, and the Wizards don't have anything unless you're, pairing him with Brad Beal and you think he can help immediately. So but I still like him as a prospect because of that DeJounte Murray type of upside there. If in a long-term plan, we have to remember
Right.
DeJounte didn't play as a rookie. DeJounte then went to the G League. And
Yeah,
I mean, then tore his ACL. Like it took him a few years to get there. So I think if that's the plan, I'm not looking at him coming in and being an all NBA all rookie team type player
for
initially.
sure.
So that's gonna be interesting where he gets drafted. Honestly, Dallas.
Yes. Actually,
Yes.
yes. And I'll
Thank you.
tell you why. Because I am tired of these just ball hogging freaks on that team. Gosh.
Hey man, even if they do re-sign Kyrie, it's like Kyrie, Luca, and then you just throw in an Anthony Black in there to play
Well,
some
the thing with
defense.
Anthony Black too is if he gets his weight up, he can guard 1 through 3. And I feel
Yes.
like that's very, very valuable because especially
Yes.
if you have him playing off ball,
Yeah.
even just in a minimal role, he's a good cutter and his length and size really helps. So
Yes. All right. Now here's what's wrong with Kobe Bufkin.
okay.
Since I've swung you now on Anthony Black, and now you now have
Swung me
Anthony
a little
Black.
bit more. I mean, his ceiling to me is not all-star.
I could see if the jump shot gets there.
The jump
Well,
shot's not going to get there.
we're
That jump
talking
shot,
Russell
that jump
Westbrook and
shot is
DeJounte Murray combined
that
here.
jump
I'm
shot.
just saying
He's not Russell
this is
Westbrook.
if DeJounte Murray can shoot nowadays, anybody
He's
can shoot it.
also on the Spurs.
Well,
I feel like that skews. That skews a lot of prospects.
a lot of players improve their shooting. All right, but anyways, Kobe Bufkin. All right, I said what I like about him. He has a good feel for the game, gets the rim, cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, the defensively, he's not strong enough at the point of attack. He had good hands, but he's not, at the point of attack, he still can get bullied at times.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of makes up for it because he's longer than the guards he's against in college. Honestly, this might be a hot take. I still have some shooting questions here, like 3-point shooting wise. And I know he shot 35.5%. It wasn't on the highest volume. I think it was like 3.5 attempts per game.
Yeah, it was low.
Operated a lot in the in between game, which is cool. But shooting, I'm cool with people buying it. Personally, though, I wouldn't be shocked if he comes in and it takes him a while to figure out like the pace of the game, the creating separation, because he did have some off the dribble as well. So the 3-point shooting is a little bit of a concern to me, not huge, but you are also depending on him being a good passer. I'll have to see it because I don't think he's a point guard in the NBA.
I don't think he's a point guard either.
It'll be interesting to see how he is as a secondary creator, as a 2 guard. And then okay. How would you describe him as an athlete?
He's not a crazy athlete.
I think he's a very average.
He's
athlete.
average. You want to know who he reminds me of?
Go ahead.
Like the first time I watched him.
Sorry, I'm just kidding.
Derek White.
Okay, that's another comp. So what comps do you have here?
I have Derek White and Emmanuel Quickly.
I had Derek White written down very quickly.
And that was like my instant one. Like I was watching, I was like, this is Derek White, which to me is completely perfect. Like obviously I think he can be better in terms of what he's able to do creation wise at the end. And then obviously finishing, I think will be better than Derek White. But in terms of the type of player he is, it's definitely like Derek White. You mentioned the playmaking. Yes, there are some questions there because he's not going to have the ball in his hands full time in any NBA team. But I think he's going to be a very good secondary playmaker because, listen, if you're going to have those finishing numbers and if you're able to develop that 3-point shot, which, again, I understand the questions with that, you're going to get enough space to make some good passes. You need smart. The thing of the NBA is you don't need – I don't look at Kobe Bufkin as a guy that's going to come in, average 8 assists a game, have the ball in his hands the whole time, whatever. I see him as a guy that makes the smart play, which is what a lot of teams need in any second or third ball handler type situation. And the fact that he's able to show those flashes – in a semi-pseudo main ball handler sense at Michigan tells me that he can do that in the NBA as a second or third ball handler.
Offensively, I have a couple more comps here, but one that I think you'll laugh at, the audience will laugh at, is Austin Reeves. That's an upside there. Now just think about it for a second. Good feel for the game, has good in-between game, can finish fairly well.
You're about to make me like talk bad about the player that I'm defending here. He does not have the bag that Austin Reeves has. Okay, Kobe Bufkin does a fake and does a step back.
Look,
That's what
yes,
he does.
I'm just Austin Reeves is very much, I mean, he has a bag, but he gets to his spots too. That's what I'm saying is like guys that get to their spot,
Yeah,
in a sense. So that's us. Um, but yeah, those are the main questions for me. It's like, and then the biggest thing we can wrap this up with my Buffkin point is the biggest thing for me is he does not at this moment does not have a immediate translatable skill, immediate strength that you're like, all right, Anthony Black comes in, immediate defender, can get to the rim.
I disagree with that.
Buffkin can finish to a degree, but like that's
To a degree,
as much as I think the Big Ten is a good
to
conference,
a
and I
degree,
think Zach Edey at 7'4" is tall, can put his hands up. You're not facing Zach Edey in the NBA for a reason. You're not.
fair enough. But 71.1%
Thanks for adding the .1 on there.
had to.
I
It's
didn't think
higher.
71 was
Listen,
enough.
that's averaging more than most anybody
It
in
is.
college.
It is. He has a
And
good feel.
to say that's not translatable with either hand is kind of crazy.
And I'm hesitant. I'm hesitant because I was low on SGA coming out.
Right. Yeah, and I was too.
But I will not allow I will not allow being wrong to stop me from being low on Kobe Bufkin here. All right.
All right.
If
What's your
I think
floor
a
ceiling?
ceiling, Derek White. There you go. Which is fine.
Ceiling is Derek White?
Fourth best player on a
No,
on a
we
Eastern
can't even.
Conference Finals team.
I was gonna say because last video we said championship team when we mentioned him, like thinking they'd get to the finals.
Yeah.
That's over. No, I think he can be. I think at his peak he could be SGA type level if we're making that direct comp. Like I think multiple time All-Star as a ceiling.
Last thing I'll say. SGA to me is so unique in how he scores the basketball.
Yeah.
And how he operates, obviously. I mean, the dude's averaging 32 points per game, all NBA first team, and he plays at his own pace. He gets to his spots. He's so efficient. It's like I can't rely on Kobe Bufkin being that. It's like that's the outlier to me.
I understand.
So that's why I'm like I'm not trusting it. I'm out. Of the 12 players we've done so far, he's 12th. There you go.
Wow.
Is Anthony Black 12th for you, or do you have the?
No, Anthony Black is not 12 for me.
Okay.
Anthony Black is like, I mean, like who I have behind him? Like I have Nick Smith behind him.
The Arkansas boys.
Maybe Keontae George. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. Well, yeah, there's a tease. Keontae George, Anthony Black video will be up in a couple days. So be on the lookout for that. We appreciate y'all's support. Leave us a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let us know what you think. Who do you think is better between these two players? Which prospect do you want your team to take if they are in the top, I don't know what, 7 to 15 range, I guess, is a realistic range. So yeah, let us know what you think. And yeah, we'll be back with another video soon.